Hi, it's Reasonable Reviewer, and I want to do a quick review today of creating drawing symbols and sacred geometry. And this is a wonderful, wonderful book that goes through and describes how to do sacred geometry. Now, you may think that this is a religious text, and that is absolutely not true. This is a secular book that just talks about traditional sacred forms that you would see. And you can see up front how it talks about things that are drawn from nature. It talks about the basic tools you're going to use. So just a straight edge, an angle, protractors, compasses, and then the kinds of materials you may use eventually to fill it in: colored pencils, paints, etc. So it starts with basic kinds of shapes. So the circle, it's hard to start with anything more basic than a circle. And then it talks about the intersecting circle, and then it talks about the God's eye, and then it talks about how you can take those intersecting circles, for example, and make this Trinity knot, which is obviously used a lot in Celtic kinds of things. And then, it goes through all the steps. It talks about how to paint them, although not as much as some other books. The coloring of them in is kind of more or less left as a creative exercise. But you can see from this picture all of the different variations on how you would just use that particular one. Then they've got something called the Seed of Life, which is a number of intersecting circles, 7 of them, and the kinds of things you can do with that. And again, you can see the variations down here in the corner when you look at that and how that works out. The yin and yang is also based on the same idea. And then we get into the hexagram star symbol, which is more or less a combination of some of the other things. But look at the tessellation patterns off to the side that you can see here. And then we can add the egg of life, which is just adding another set of circles on the outside, but only keeping certain of them. And then, for some of you who are familiar with the Kabbalah, you'd recognize the tree of life. It talks about how to make that with a series of intersections. And then finally, Meteoron's cube, which actually contains, I didn't know this until I read the book, all these different platonic solids. So pretty darn cool. Anyway, the whole book goes through. It talks about how you could use a series of 5 Meteoron cubes to come up with the 5 platonic shapes. And there you go. So that's the whole book. And then it gives some ideas of things you could do at the end, like this moon symbol and these kinds of things. So, all in all, I think it's very interesting. It's well written, and I give it 4 stars. It's something that I could imagine using in the future as a way of promoting good drawing techniques. So, thank you all very much. 4 stars.